Hello everybody, my name's Harry James. Doing this Texas preview a little earlier this week because I will hopefully be super jam-packed busy this weekend watching Oklahoma softball all weekend. Alright guys, with that being said, let's do it. Let's see what we gotta do to book them this way, baby. Sark, better watch out, baby. Here come the Sooners. Bring on the Sooner train, baby. And let's go. Choo, choo. Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name's Harry James. Well, you cannot have a Red River rivalry without the Texas part of the Red River rivalry. We'll preview Oklahoma later. We'll do Texas now. The Longhorns of Austin, Texas. 7-3 last year. 5-3 in Big 12 play. They did finish fourth in the league, which got them an invite to the Alamo Bowl, where they pretty much took care of business against former Big 12 player Colorado. Took care of it 55-23. The Longhorns played their games at DKR Stadium there in Austin, Texas. DKR, if you don't know who that is Darrell K. Royal. That is their all-time winning coach and former athletic director, and played football for some team that you may have heard of, the University of Oklahoma Sooners. But Royal is a former coach at Texas. The current coach at Texas is in year number 1 in Austin, and the one trying to steer the ship, if you will, because they're Longhorns at least. Get it? Steve Sarkisian. And now this is not Stark's first NCAA head football stop. It is his first year at Texas, as we already talked about, but not his first stop. He's played in some Pac-12 football. 2005 to 2013, he was at the University of Washington with the Huskies in the Pac-12. He then, from 14 to 15, accepted a job at the Trojans of USC in the Pac-12. Got into a little hot water there, USC in California. Took a step back, became an analyst and an assistant for Alabama with Nick Saban before accepting the job at Texas in 2021. Of course, Longhorns in the Big 12. Well, we've talked about one former OU quarterback already, Darrell K. Royal, the son of a different quarterback. Anybody here at OU, anybody remember Charles Thompson? He had a couple of kids. Well, Casey's the youngest. He's number 8 for the Longhorns. He passed for 255 yards, 6 touchdowns last year. Didn't throw an interception, by the way. His longest completion was 73 yards down the field. Now, Casey's going to have a little help because they do lose the former quarterback that basically was Mr. Texas. And thank God he's gone. But with him gone, now they have to build up some sort of an offense. And it'll help having a rushing attack. And Bijan Robinson and Rashard Johnson will both take care of that problem. We'll start with Bijan Robinson, 86 carries, 703 yards, 2 touchdowns last year. His longest run, 35 yards. Also to Rashard Johnson, 80 carries, 418 on the ground, 6 touchdowns, 43 along. Run. Wide receivers that are going to help Casey stay up front and get the ball down the field. Joshua Moore and Jake Smith. Josh Moore, number 6, 30 tackles for the Horns last year. To match 472 in the air, receiving yards, by the way, 9 touches. He had the 78-yarder last season as a long. Jake Smith, another wide receiver for the Horns coming back. 23 catches, 294 yards, and 3 touchdowns. His longest reception, 33 yards out. So that's offense. Let's talk about the defense. The guy that I'm really excited about not seeing, Marvion Overshown. He's a big dude. He's a linebacker, but he's only, according to the statistics now, the 2nd leading tackler heading into this year. The leading tackler as a transfer played for New Mexico in 2019. Played a little bit in 2020, not a whole lot, but in a full year in 2019, number 3, Devin Richardson, a transfer from New Mexico and the Lobos. 69 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 0 fumbles recovered, 0 picks from his linebacker spot from the New Mexico State Cowboys, I do believe. Now, let's talk about the guy that actually returns and that might know a little bit about this defense that they're playing now, and that's Marvion Overshown. He's changed his number. He's now number 0. Big bad number 0. I love those linebackers and those defensive nose guards and defensive ends that wear 0. Davion Overshown, of course, one of those. 62 total tackles last year. 2 forced fumbles. 1 fumble recovered. 2 picks as a linebacker for the Horns of Texas. And finally, that's offense. Defense. What about special teams? Ryan Bucheski is a punter. 39 punts last year. 40.8 in average. Didn't have a touchback. 15 of those balls landed inside the 20-yard line and hit a career-long 60-yard punt last year. Also, but that's just part of the special teams. The other part, the kicking part, well, we all know this guy. Dicker, the kicker. Cameron Dicker, he wears number 17 for the Longhorns. 15 for 21. That's a 71.4% winning clip last year. And hit a long field goal of 53 yards. All right, guys. That will wrap this one up. Tie a bow on it as we hook the Horns down. Next week, we'll talk about TCU. I do believe that that's the next game on the list, so we'll preview that one. Before we go, are you a little tired? And, like I talked about, the softball team's getting ready to play tomorrow, but maybe you don't want to talk about softball. Maybe you just want to talk football. OU football. Big-time OU football. Gotcha. Right here. Inside OU. Brady Trantham. Keegan Renault. Now this one, the Inside OU podcast, just go to your podcast feeds, look up Inside OU. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. You got it. You're on their list. You're on their cool list. But if you really want to be on their cool list, check this one out. It's their Patreon page. Just look through the Through the Keyhole. That's Through the Keyhole. You'll find it. It's got the Bob Stoops, Florida State field goal reaction from Jimmy Stevens. We all remember that one. And it says through the keyhole, and it's got a little keyhole, and it's got OU's Owen Field through, literally, quote unquote, through the keyhole. Now, this one, they threw the keyhole one, $4 just for the audio set. But if you want to book in an extra $1 for $5, the formerly mentioned Keegan Renault also does a film breakdown study. Helps you break down film, study the film, he goes over it with you. Last week was the Texas offense. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it this week, depending on what time I get home from the ASA Stadium, depending on how many games are played. Hopefully, I will not be, and Oklahoma will have to play an if necessary game, and they'll win the if necessary game, by the way, and move on to the championship series. Let's hope that happens. Fingers crossed. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. My name's Harry James. Catch this in all my other videos on YouTube, Boomer Center 1982. Also, Facebook, Harry James Taylor, or on the Twitter machine at Hypeman Harry. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and buck 'em horns. Let's go. Boomer Center.